Welcome back to this AWS TechShift Migrate and Modernize video mini-series. These videos are aimed at independent software vendors who are currently on-premise and looking to migrate to the cloud. It's also aimed at those that are looking to modernize the architecture of an existing application to become more cloud native. In the last video, we explored the benefits of migrating to the cloud and also introduced our monolithic photo gallery as a case study application. In this video, we're going to explore the concept of a landing zone and look at how to build our virtual private cloud, or our VPC, which will form the base network of our application resources.
When starting out in AWS, customers are faced with many design decisions. For example, do you have one AWS account or split out into multiple separate accounts? If you choose to use multiple accounts, are these separated by team, by environment, or by application? Other decisions include how to give access to the account, how to structure the networking, how to implement logging, auditing, and security guardrails. When you start out with an AWS account, there is nothing in it. No resources, no users, no controls. It is up to you to put together your own starting baseline. This is called a landing zone. To help customers quickly establish a multi-account landing zone following AWS best practices, we created a service called AWS Control Tower. Control Tower automates the work involved in setting up a landing zone. Control Tower is opinionated guidance on what the landing zone should look like, delivered as a service in the console developed by AWS. Control Tower takes best practices and makes it very simple to deploy all of these automatically. The Control Tower automated landing zone enables and configures AWS CloudTrail and AWS Config to log to an Amazon S3 bucket located in a Log Archive account. It also provides federated access to accounts using AWS Single Sign-On. It enables guardrails to protect the resources deployed by AWS Control Tower and detects non-compliance across multiple accounts. Finally, it supports lifecycle events, which allows you to configure any additional custom automation as part of a new account creation, such as your default network configuration. You can then build out your multi-account environment from this starting baseline and begin provisioning your application resources. Now we have used Control Tower to configure our landing zone, let's go back to our photo gallery application. Before we can provision our EC2 instance to run our application, we first need to build a VPC which will contain the networking constructs and the subnets. A VPC is created in a particular AWS region and given an IP CIDR range. In this case, we have created the VPC in EUS1, which is in Ireland, and given a 10.0.0.0/16 CIDR range. This means any resources provisioned inside the VPC must be within this IP range. Multiple VPCs can be created within a region within an AWS account, but in this example, we will just use one. Within each AWS region, there are multiple availability zones. In this case, there are 3. Inside a VPC, you can provision subnets. A subnet cannot span availability zones, so we must create multiple subnets, in this case, one for each availability zone. An internet gateway can be attached to a VPC to allow access in and out to the internet. This will allow end users to access our application. So far, we have introduced public subnets, which have a route directly to the internet gateway. We are now adding in additional private subnets, again, one for each availability zone, which will not have a route to the internet gateway. Instead, to allow resources in the private subnets to still access the internet, we will provision NAT gateways in the public subnets and add a route from the private subnets to those NAT gateways. The NAT gateway means that traffic can get out to the internet for things like software patches, but won't allow access to resources from the internet. The private subnets are now ready for our database layer, something that we will look at in more detail in the next video. Join us in the next video to explore replatforming the database layer and to optimize the delivery of static web content.